Donald Trump has been in office for just over 1 week now, and he has signed numerous executive orders, including one to get started building a wall on the US-Mexican border, although that executive order in itself won't get the wall built, but it's sort of getting the process started. He signed an executive order to stop people from 7 Muslim-majority countries from coming to America, including a permanent ban on Syrian refugees coming to America. Now, if Trump wants to stop or seriously reduce illegal immigration, he could do it very simply. Right now, we give about 60,000 immigration visas a year to countries with people who wait in a lottery system to come immigrate to America, including Mexico. Now, in Mexico, millions of people are waiting on such lists. They wait for many years, up to or more than 10 years. So if Trump wants to reduce the amount of illegal immigration from Mexico, a wall surely won't do it because people know how to get under walls, over them. Drug cartels have billions of dollars to help smuggle people through them and get their drugs through them. Now, Bill O'Reilly tends to think that you can police away problems like that. He was saying, it's going to make it harder to carry the drugs over the wall. It's certainly going to reduce the flow of drugs. What'll happen in reality is if there are people who are climbing over the wall with ladders to try and get drugs over, which there are going to be more advanced ways of doing it than that, such as using drones and submarines. If that did have any effect in reducing drug smuggling because people had to carry drugs on their backs and climb over a wall, which will make it more difficult, which how hard are ropes to use and pulleys and tunneling, what it would mean is the price of those drugs would go up, they would get more expensive, possibly more potent, more deadly, more overdoses for Americans who buy them. The drug cartels would become even more violent and deadly to protect their business. There would be more chaos and misery in Mexico. In addition to the 20% tax for Mexican imports coming to America that Trump has proposed to pay for the border wall, this is going to make Mexico an even worse place for Mexicans to live in, more chaotic, more corrupt, more violent, more poverty-stricken, and that's not going to bode well for stopping the flow of illegal immigrants here. That's going to cause more illegal immigrants to come. I'm saying there's much bigger problems that should be addressed that illegal immigration is a consequence of. People fleeing for their lives, fleeing violence, fleeing persecution, kidnapping, extortion from cartels, who resort to these techniques to make money when their drug money is cut off. Or they resort to smuggling oil, which has been disastrous for Mexico and has resulted in many deaths and the stealing of much oil from Mexico. We're helping drive huge amounts of illegal immigration here. If we actually wanted to reduce that, we could do things like legalizing drugs and stop supporting the Mexican war on drugs, which has caused total upheaval and chaos in Mexico, which people are fleeing, as well as many more countries in Central and South America. Stop the chaos in Central and South American countries, which people flee there, by stop deposing their governments and installing dictators, by having CIA death squads there supporting insurrections and uprisings. We could do all that if we wanted to. This would not only put America first, but let other countries be there in terms of having success for themselves, having that same success and being able to have better relations with us, better business relationships with us, and us with them. And as for this Muslim ban, this is horrific, this is chaos, this is indecent. This is the kind of thing that leads to war. It's going to lead to more killing, lead to more people being resentful and angry against America. Paul Ryan, I wonder if this deal with the devil you've made with Donald Trump is working out for you, in which you know he'll turn against you in a second if you do something he doesn't like, but it's as if you're walking out of his office and he smacks you in the back of the head and tells you to go out and do a good job, and you go out there and proudly say, everything will be fine. We'll be fine. If Trump believes that 3 to 5 million people voted illegally, we should address that. There's no evidence for that kind of illegal voting. If there is, how do you know? How does anyone know? Please establish that. Please show the evidence. Instead, Trump is asserting this as a smear against Hispanics, against immigrants, against people who are darker skinned than us, who speak different languages. It's going to be easier to position them as enemies against America who want to disrupt American government. This Muslim ban is going to be horrible. It's going to result in even greater chance of attacks against America or American allies and American interests in terms of a terrorist attack. And when that happens, Trump will escalate his efforts to crack down on foreigners and Americans too even further. Because consider this, Trump said in his interview at ABC News that torture absolutely works. He believes it. Well, if he believes it works against foreigners, why wouldn't he believe that it works on Americans or illegal immigrants here because they're not really Americans? or Black Lives Matter activists, or other people he considers political opponents. People like to sanitize the history of Martin Luther King and the American government and pretend like Martin Luther King was just this neutered, sort of antiseptic figure who didn't really cause problems here, and he was a peaceful demonstrator. But remember, he was disobedient. He engaged in civil disobedience. The American government persecuted him. He had been arrested. He had been spied on. He was blackmailed. They considered him a communist. Ultimately, he was assassinated. He went through a lot of horrible things, as did the people around him, including John Lewis, by the way, who Donald Trump has insulted recently, is all talk. This Muslim ban, the wall with Mexico, disrupting relations with our allies and with other countries who stand to be in better relations with us, does not put America first. How does this make sense? How is any of this putting America first? This is going to threaten to create more wars, more crackdowns in America and abroad. It's going to disrupt people's lives. It will get many people killed. This is not helping America. This is not America first. If you want to put America first, you have to remember that what benefits you is not what you look at, and what benefits someone else is not what they look at across from you. It's everybody looking essentially in the same direction, side by side. We win if Mexico is doing well. Mexico wins if we're doing well. Ultimately, whether immigrants come here or not is sort of only a byproduct of whether both our countries are doing well. And either way, we have much to gain by welcoming immigrants, by having them be successful. If they're successful, we're being successful. You know, Republicans talk about wanting people to be rich, wanting them to be independent, to be wealthy. We can have that with our immigrants. We can have people here who are successful, who help us be successful. We don't win when we shut immigrants out. The fact that people are here illegally is actually an improvement over if they were just stuck in countries that were torn apart by corruption, poverty, violence, where people don't flee over small things. People only leave and risk their lives to come to America, and many die trying to come here when they're under very serious threat. People don't just leave their country on a whim. So the fact that people are here is an opportunity to make their lives even better, to make our lives even better. And when the US-Mexican border wall isn't enough to stop immigration to America, when the Muslim ban isn't enough to stop terrorism, that will just become an excuse to escalate war policies and anti-immigration policies even further. It will be an excuse to say, well, we have to get people turning basically against immigrants, against foreigners, against Muslims, because if they're getting away with committing crimes, then we need other people to inform on them, and we need to know, are you collaborating with them possibly? If you're not informing on them, maybe you support them. It's endless. It's an excuse for endless turning over people's rights, upending people's ability to live and to succeed. There's never any end to the excuse of how to make new enemies. The fact that people flee to America, whether it's from Latin American countries or Muslim majority countries, is a testament to how they're trying to escape bad circumstances to make their lives better. And not only that, in many of the cases of the countries they're fleeing from, America helped devastate those countries. Whether it's bombing foreign countries such as Somalia, Iraq, Libya, whether it's putting sanctions on them which helped devastate them, which again include Iraq and Iran, whether it's CIA death squads, the war on drugs, and deposing Central and South American country leaders and installing dictators that are going to be friendly to America and oppose communists. We have a choice in stopping all that. We can if we want. If you're really America first, you will be supporting policies that really deal with these problems. If you're really America first, you will support policies that deal with the fundamentals of these problems, because the immigration itself is just a byproduct of these problems. People don't flee over nothing. Consider how angry you get and how much military action you support against foreigners, as well as police action you support against people who are in this country who are undocumented. Now imagine how much more angry and fearful, traumatized and desperate people get in those other countries where they're facing death and torture, kidnapping, extortion, rape, poverty and corruption. They have a choice in fleeing, some of them, and if they're lucky, and it's difficult. We have a choice in stopping this pig-headed law which devastates their countries but yet blames them for wanting to flee for a better life. We have a choice. If you want to stop illegal immigration, grant way more immigration visas. That way people can be legal, documented in the system, get driver's licenses, get insurance, because you don't want to get in a car accident with someone who doesn't have insurance and doesn't have a driver's license. You don't want to live in a city where immigrants are afraid to call the police because they're afraid that they'll get questioned and deported, that they'll be separated from their families, they'll be put in detention centers centers in America that are already overcrowded, that barely have enough supplies for everybody. They don't want to be sent back to their countries where they've already fled, and now they're going to be desperate to survive, which is going to make those countries worse off, and those countries are going to drive more illegal immigration here. You don't want that. So I'm asking you, how does any of this put America first? If we're in war with other countries, that's not America first. That's a failure of America. I don't see how America comes first if we have this total breakdown of diplomacy. If our neighbors who are immigrants are fearful of living here and can't be successful here. If we end up getting in tensions with other countries that leads to war or terrorist attacks. That is not America first. And if you say you're proud of your white heritage and you support European peoples in America and around the world, how do white people benefit from Arab people being separated from their families, from being in war-torn countries that we helped devastate, in Central and South American countries which we helped devastate, with our war on drugs, with secret CIA wars and bombings, with the possibility of torture coming back, CIA black sites, arrests without charges? How do white people win in that scenario? Because it seems like that's a total loss for white people. It's a total loss for America. It only serves to inflame tensions between white people and the rest of the world, and it's going to result in more wars, in more attacks, more fighting, more distrust, more fear, more misery, less jobs, less industry, less looking towards the future of how we can actually have better lives for ourselves. So think about that and discuss that. How does America come first under any of this?